Welcome back to the Sad Boy Social Club, and hello to everyone that's new. In today's video we'll be taking a closer look at the Fanatec CSL DD Ready to Race bundle, reviewing it as well as setting it all up. Going into the settings and looking at what you should consider before you pull the trigger on this purchase, and setting you back 430 euros. Starting off with the table clamp. Be aware that this is included in the Ready to Race bundle, so you do not have to order it separately. The overall quality is pretty sturdy. It is made out of plastic. Something that it did lack is the adjustability, which is somewhat disappointing, but at this price point, totally okay. Next up we have the Fanatec base station, the CSL DD 5Nm torque version. This is pretty much the heart of the sim setup and is considered on the lower end of power output. And definitely my first tip is to get the boost pack. Making this decision before you buy the whole set will set you back an extra 100 euros or dollars, and buying this afterwards will set you back 150. In my case, I chose to stick with the standardized wheel just because I do not drive that many Formula 1 cars or racing cars in particular. This is really dependent on your niche and can always be upgraded at a later stage. Now, looking at the pedals, yet again something you can always customize after purchasing these specific ones. There are third-party companies that do sell certain 3D printed parts to adjust the feel of the brakes and the gas pedal, and you can always add a loading cell. Now this is everything that was included in the package, excluding the cables, of course. Something that is not to worry about. Everything is labeled correctly and of great quality for this price point. The setup process is pretty straightforward and simple, so we'll be jumping right into Windows to install the drivers necessary. Head right away to the search engine of your choice. Go to the Fanatec website and you will be presented with the latest driver. Hit on the download button and extract the folder. In the extracted folder you should be presented with two variations of the executable files. In my case I'll be choosing the 64-bit version. Since I have already installed the software, I am not presented with the option to install. You would in this case just hit the install button. In my case I will be hitting the repair button. Once you are done installing it, it will ask you to restart your PC. So do that and simply launch the program on startup. The program will detect your device once you boot it up, so simply press the button on the right side of the base station. There are two modes to this system, so you can either put it into compatibility mode or the PC mode, which is indicated in the bottom left of the window. Now the first thing you want to do is head over to the firmware update, make sure that everything's updated. Just hit the update button on the side and follow the prompts on the screen. Once this is completed, we'll be heading into the tune menu. This is where you can set different profiles for different games for the base station. My suggestion would be to head over to the pop-up link in the description above and use the settings that are indicated on the website. These do vary depending on which game you choose to play. In my case, I'll be doing the Assetto Corsa settings. Simply scroll down to the wheel that is currently in use So in our case, we'll be using the CSL DD wheel, which is almost at the bottom of the page, and start copying these settings. Important is that there is the tuning menu settings and then the in-game settings. Now, to avoid having to set this up manually for all the different types of games, I would suggest heading over to the FanaLab website or just clicking on the pop-up above. Go to the top link in the description, as you can see on the page, to get the latest software. Download it, extract it and install it. Pretty much the same process as before. Now, this tool is pretty self-explanatory. It takes over all the settings that we have previously adjusted on the Fanatec software. So you'll see the settings are taken over from there. But in this case, we'll be heading over to the game profiles. This is where you can simply select the game you want to play and load the profiles accordingly, simply by pressing on the settings. My suggestion would be to then again click on the recommended settings and adjust this, which is not entirely necessary in terms of the Fanatec software, but you do have to adjust the settings once you are in the game. Now, I tested the wheel in Assetto Corsa or ACC. Head over to the control settings, select one of the profiles in the bottom left, just load them in and adjust anything that you would want to adjust. Very important is that you do adjust the steer lock. This is currently set to 900 degrees, but we do want to set this to 1080. The rest can pretty much be left as it is, or you can decide to change individual buttons. I changed my ignition and my starter button, although these are set to automatic in the game. Alright, let's jump into the Nürburgring. We'll be testing the racing wheel in the BMW. Now, first thing that I did notice is that it really depends which car you are using. Obviously, all the cars will not have power steering, which results in your wheel having much more weight to it and being more difficult to turn. One thing that I did mention in the unboxing was that I felt like there was a bit of a lack of force feedback. Hence, in my opinion, something to definitely get before buying or when considering buying this Ready to Race bundle is the boost package, since this really affects how the car feels. Overall, the build quality of the wheel is really good. I think at this price point you can't really ask for anything more. They have upgraded the shifting pedals. They were previously made out of plastic and are now a bit sturdier thanks to a different material choice. One cool feature is that the program allows you to see a small light indication, as you can see in the middle top part of the wheel, which indicates one, in which gear you are, and secondly, when you should be shifting. Something that is in your sight but definitely not distracting. Now here you could see I was hitting one of the curbs and the wheel started to spin according to the tires. So just be careful that you don't get your fingers caught on the shifter pedals. Now the adjustability of the table clamp is pretty much zero. There's absolutely no option to adjust the height, which makes it a bit more difficult to hold the steering wheel at the angle that you would like to. In my case, this was a bit too high. Something I would definitely look into upgrading in the near future. Overall, I would give this a solid 8 out of 10 for the experience, and would definitely recommend this to people that are just getting started, especially because this is a super good entry-level direct drive wheel, and it just has an overall really good build quality. Overall, in my opinion, I would suggest this product to anyone that is getting started in the sim racing world. And for those of you that have the budget for it, I would suggest getting one of the boost packages, or even heading towards the sweet spot, which is supposedly anywhere around 13 to 15 Newton meters torque. This brings us to the end of the video. I hope you guys could gain some key information that makes the purchase decision somewhat easier for you guys. And if you would like to support me and my channel and have decided to purchase one of the Fanatec products, I would greatly appreciate it if you would use my affiliate link in the description below, or alternatively, obviously, share, like and subscribe. Hope to see you guys in the next one. Cheers.